So what the hell's been going on in the NBA free agency world this year? Well, a damn lot. That's the best way to put it. So let's start with whatever the hell DeAndre Jordan is. So I guess he's a Clipper now. This is pretty much like a romantic comedy. DeAndre and the Clippers, they were together. It was great. You know, they had a couple of makeout scenes. They had to stop it pretty quickly. They had to go to another scene really quickly because it's a PG-13 movie. And then something happened. They had to split apart. And they had to see some other people. And in DeAndre's case, they had to verbally commit to one. And then, you know, Doc Rivers came over. I'm sure we all saw the meme of Doc Rivers holding the stereo outside of DeAndre's house, like outside of his car or whatever. And now they're back together. So, look, whatever your opinion on DeAndre Jordan is, I'm just going to talk about it from a basketball standpoint. The Clippers are now, once again, one of the better teams in the Western Conference and a team that you have to take seriously. I still don't love their bench. The only real addition I like for them this offseason has been Paul Pierce because, besides the fact that I just don't see how Lance Stephenson's going to work, I don't know how Lance Stephenson's going to work with Jamal Crawford or Austin Rivers. I just don't get that one at all. What the hell else happened? Lamarcus Aldridge, of course, going to San Antonio. The Spurs are strapped. Granted, I think Ginobili just flat out sucks at this point. But, you know, Kawhi, Aldridge, Duncan, Tony Parker, Danny Green, David West, all they really have to do is find a guy to fill that, like, Tiago Splitter role, and they're pretty much fine. What else happened? I'm not fact-checking any of this, so if I missed something, whatever, I missed it. Greg Monroe to Milwaukee. I may have mentioned that Greg Monroe was overrated because of his defense. That doesn't mean I don't think that was a good signing. I think it was a very good signing for both of them because Milwaukee needed a big man who could score baskets and get rebounds, and Greg Monroe needed a team that was good defensively around him. It's a perfect world for both teams, actually, and now Milwaukee just looking forward. They got Jabari, Giannis, Michael Carter-Williams, if he can just learn to shoot, Middleton. I think that is a very, very good team for Greg Monroe. So I think that works well. Now let me talk about my Boston Celtics. So listen. Basically what they did was they signed Amir Johnson, they re-signed Jerebko, and they re-signed Crowder. Now I like Crowder. I do a lot. I really like Crowder coming off the bench. Kind of like a James Posey role for us. And I like Jerebko too. And I like Amir Johnson. But man, Amir Johnson and Jerebko, between those two guys, $17 million. You know who else would have cost $17 million? Tobias freaking Harris. Okay? And Tobias Harris has not hit his ceiling. And if you put him in the right atmosphere with the right coach, he could have averaged over 20 points a game. And Brad Stevens is the right coach for everybody. I mean, Brad Stevens for president, am I right? So, look, I like Amir Johnson. He's got defense, energy, hustle. He's a team-first kind of guy. But if you really want to grow as a team and eventually become a contender, you sign guys like Tobias Harris to $17 million a year. Especially with the cap about to go up. Like, I don't know. I don't know. Now, of course, they just acquired David Lee. It's a nice move. I mean, you got rid of Gerald Wallace. You got David Lee. An instant upgrade. Sullinger's probably gone, which I would completely agree with. But, I don't know. It's just weird. What else? Monte Ellis to the Pacers. I like that one. If Monte can just hit his threes, because he shot like 28% last year. If Monte can hit threes, I think that'll be really good. Now the Pacers are really going towards a more fast break style of offense, where you got George Hill, Monte Ellis, and Paul George, and Rodney Stuckey coming off the bench. I like that. I think Miles Turner is their ideal future power forward. He's kind of fits that fast break style as well. They're just going to need a center who can really be the big guy, rebound and block shots and do all that. Kind of like what Roy Hibbert once did until Roy Hibbert just started being the worst NBA player on the planet. The Sacramento Kings signed Rajon Rondo, which is probably the worst possible situation you could put him in, but good luck, George Karl. God, what the hell is, like, the Kings owner, Vivek, that guy seems like the worst person to work with. It seems like if you just don't agree with him, you're just immediately gone, which there's no way you can build an NBA contender with that much closed-mindedness. Like, you have to have an open mind, you have to be open for communication. I mean, that's just not even for that, that's just like in life. Like, come on, you can't be successful being closed-minded. What else happened? The Knicks and the Lakers kind of struck out. The Knicks got themselves a couple of players, Aaron Aflalo, Robin Lopez, but I mean, they might make the 8th seed, but that's not going to win them anything. Which is why I've already suggested, and I'm going to say again, they should trade Carmelo Anthony, because now, what the hell are you going to win with those two additions? Nothing. I mean, you might be a little better, but you're not going to be a real contender. So, I don't know. I just think the Knicks should trade Carmelo Anthony and just properly start over. As for the Lakers, I like their young group. See, if the Knicks don't trade Carmelo Anthony, then they're going to be in the situation the Lakers are in right now. Whereas, like, you've got this really old star in Kobe, who's pretty much, he's not pretty much, he is past his prime, and his value is really, it's just declined. And it's like now, it's really a burden to have him on your team, but you gotta keep him because he's Kobe Bryant. So, I mean, really, when Kobe retires, it'll be a good thing for the Lakers, because then they can properly all be on the same page of this is a rebuild. So unless the Knicks can acquire some big player immediately, just trade Carmelo Anthony. Like, just trade the guy, okay? Get yourself a bunch of picks, some young players. No, they're willing to just be okay with no real chance to improve, which is the worst position you can be in the NBA. So did anything else happen in free agency? I mean, Jimmy Butler re-signed. That's a very good move for Chicago. I can't really think of anything else. Nah, I got nothing. My Celtics are going to suck. Well, they're not going to suck. They're going to be like a 7th seed because we don't have a goddamn center, but we have a million guards and a million power forwards. So I hope your team did well in free agency. Rip to Mavs fans. Rip in peace. Rip in peace, Blazers fans. That's about it. Have a good one, guys. I'm done.